Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my channel, Stitching with the Dachshund. It's a lovely day here in Central Texas. The sun's shining and it's nice and crisp and cool. So all the dogs are outside playing, so I have a few minutes alone that I can actually film a video. Now, of course, we won't be stitching today. Today I'm in the kitchen. I've decided that today is the day that I'm going to practice making beignets. Now, it's not going to be the beignets that you're used to seeing or hearing about. When you go to Louisiana and you order beignets with the coffee and you get the 3 on the plate with tons of powdered sugar. We were talking at our last Cook's Guild, and if you watch my channel, you know that I host a Cook's Guild here in my house once a month, and we work on medieval and Renaissance recipes, which is to us fun. So we decided that November would be the month for beignets. But what we do is we have to prove that it's in our time period, which is anywhere between 600 to 1600 AD. So we do a little research on it, find out where it came from, what time period is, the ingredients they used, anything like that. So we do a little research. We all bring our dishes and our research, and we present it at our meeting. So I decided, since we're meeting not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, I better get up and get working on making these recipes. I've already did some research on the beignets because one of the questions that we ask is it period, which means does it fall within our time period, 600 to 1600? And when we were talking about beignets, I was like, well, beignets is pretty much just fried dough, so it has to be period. But I don't ever just assume that or say that. I have to have proof that it was actually used in our time period, and I won't get into all that right now, but yes, it was. There's lots of recipes about fried dough over centuries, over cultures. Everybody has a type of fried dough, but we're going to go with the beignets, and I'm going to hold my recipe up that I'm going to recreate today, and you can pause it or whatever you want if you're really interested in looking at it. But it is from the Book of Cookrye, 1584. It's recipe number 1. Make sure y'all can see that, and I'll hold it still. I don't know if you could see the writing on that, but that is a little odd for most people. So that's what we work with. We work with this recipe that has no amounts, no times, and it's very vague. Put butter and water over fire in a fair pan. Okay, so you've got to figure that out and work on that. So I've already done my research, and Julia Childs, actually in her recipe book, Baking with Julia, I believe is the book, she has a beignet recipe. Now, it's not beignet like for period, but at least I can look at that and kind of guess maybe some amounts to start with, to put them together, see if they work. So the amounts that I'm going to be using today, I'm not sure it's going to actually make a beignet. It could just make a big mess, which means I have to go in here and tweak my amounts a little bit, or my technique a little bit. So I'm taking you along with me on that. What else do I want to say about beignets? Well, I will say that the beignets that we're used to are, of course, the ones in Louisiana, where you go to the cafe and order your coffee and you get a plate of 3, and they got lots of powder, sugar on them. And that is a Louisiana staple. Actually, that is their state donut, the beignet. Texas does not have a state donut. However, we have a state pastry that we have 2 they share. It's the sopapilla and the strudel, of all things. So we don't have a Texas donut, but we do have a Texas state pastry. So anyway, that's what most people picture when they think of beignets. The thing about the Louisiana beignets is that they use evaporated milk in their recipe. This recipe from 1584 has no milk in it. It has butter. Sorry, left it over there. It only has water, butter, salt, flour, eggs, and it is actually cooked or fried in butter. For today's practice, I'm not going to fry it in butter. I'm actually going to fry it in oil. I've got it heating up over here. But when I actually do these for the Cook's Guild meeting, I will cook them in butter because we have to do it as our ancestors wrote or showed in pictures how they did it. and then we can tweak it to make it how we want to do it. Because although medieval food and Renaissance food is very delicious, some of it is not for the modern palate. And some people are like, you cooked it in butter, that can't be healthy. Well, it's real butter. It's healthy. It's fine. So anyway, before I get off into all of that, I'm going to take you along with me today. I am on my computer because, you know, my phone doesn't talk to my computer anymore. So I will be moving you around in the kitchen. I'll be pausing and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this video is going to be okay. Already 5 minutes into the video and all I've done is talk. So let me pause you, turn you around, and we've got the ingredients. And then I'm going to have to pause you again and put you over by the stove. So you're going to be traveling around in my kitchen a little bit today. So let me pause you right now and let's get to some ingredients. So the ingredients and the measurements that I'm going to attempt today is I'm going to have 1 cup of water. I'm going to have 1 stick of butter, chopped up. I've got 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, already measured out. 1 cup of flour, and 4 to 5 eggs. And why it says 4 to 5, why I'm doing 4 to 5 eggs is because when I read in Julia Child's book about beignets, she said you add your eggs, but you save that last one and you kind of test your dough to see if you need it. If you need it, you put it in. If you don't, you don't put it in. So I've got 4 or 5, and I don't know, well, I've got 5, but I don't know if I'll be using 4 or 5 in the recipe today. So these are my ingredients that I'm going to be using in the measurements that I'm going to be using today. So once again, I'm going to pause you and I'm going to have to set you up on the stove over here so we can get to mixing and working on this recipe. So let me push the pause button again. I'm going to actually read the recipe as it's written in its period, in the period writing, so that you understand what I'm trying to do here today. So it says, put butter and water over the fire in a fair pan, and when it boileth, put into fine flour and salt, and let them boil. But stir them well from, this word means browning, and when it is well thick, put it into an earthen pot. Then break eggs into it, and boil them so together. Then boil a good quantity of butter clarified over fire. With a spoon, put in your other stuff, and so fry them till they be brown, and that done, serve them forth with sugar on them. Okay, that's what I'm working with today. So I know I've already listed out my ingredients, I'm guessing at my amounts, but my technique is to boil water and butter first. And you notice I said boil several times in here, and I know that once I get the water and the butter boiled, okay, I can bring that to a boil, but when I add the flour and such, it's going to be a little odd. So you're going to see this with me and we'll see how it goes. So once again, I'm going to pause you. All right, welcome back. I've got my water and butter boiling. So now I'm going to add my flour. I feel this is going to go really fast. It says add flour and stir, and it's got to boil again. Oh, I got to turn this down to low. So it says Julia Child says when it starts pulling away from the edges, because you've got to cook that flour so that it doesn't have that raw flour taste to it. Now, in good medieval form, they use 2 cooking techniques because they love to use more than one cooking technique in a recipe. So we're going to fry it and boil it. So this looks, I don't know, this is looking good to me. I'm going to flip it over so I can show y'all. See how it's pulled away and it's leaving this little bit of stuff on the bottom of the pan? When I was reading Julia Child, she was like, that's what you want. You want that in there. Now, it says to move it to an earthenware pot. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take it off the heat, and I'm going to start adding my eggs. So, good luck. I don't want to make scrambled eggs, but I'm going to do like the period recipe says. And I'm going to do one at a time. So, I'm getting scrambled eggs a little bit. Let me move it over here. Can you see? Nope, can't see. Okay. Okay, I think I'm recovering. All right. In goes another one. Actually, I'm gonna go, that's two. I think it wants to make sure that the eggs are cooked in this batter. So I'm going to turn it back on a little bit low. Gotta keep on stirring it so I won't get scrambled eggs. Still looking really good. Okay, now that is 3 eggs total in there. And Julie Child's test says you pick it up, it sticks to the spoon but easily drops and then holds a peak. I don't know. I think I really am going to put one more egg in it just to see how that takes us. Because you got to experiment on this. So. I'm going to turn the pot a little bit so I can get some stirring going. Oh, looks really good. Sticks to the plate and holds it. All right, we're going to call this done on this experiment. Turn it off. Let me show you what it looks like. There you go. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to look like or not. I've never done this. So, what does the recipe say to do next? 1 egg. Okay. Well, now this is where it says heat up the butter and then drop your other stuff in it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. My grease is heated up already. Now I've got this done. We're going to pause and I'm going to move you over to where I've got my fryer heating up. All right, we're over here at my fryer. You can see I've got paper towels ready. I've got my dough. This is just vegetable oil heated up to 400 degrees. I wanted it really hot because I know that when you make other things that you want it really, really hot. And I've got a slotted spoon, which I just use to do that. And that slotted spoon is supposed to be for getting it out, not necessarily putting it in. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to roll it up on a little bit, because this is by the spoonful. We're going to put it in there, and it's frying. We're going to do 3 of them, let them fry. Keep our fingers crossed that we are on the right track here. Some of the little dough that fell apart is floating. The beignets are floating, which was my understanding that they needed to do that. So we're going to let these fry for a few minutes. I'm going to let them fry, and you don't need to be sitting here waiting for them to fry. So I'll come back in a minute with y'all. Okay, I'm lifting my first ones out. Ow, a little hot. All right, so that's the first 3, and I did drop 3 more. I made balls out of the next one, so you'll see them as a little different. So I'm going to continue frying these up, and then I'll be back with you to put on the powder and give it a taste test. I'm not done frying yet, but I did want to show you how lovely they're turning out. So they're looking good, but now when the last batch gets done, we have to do a taste test to see if they taste as good as they look. So I'll be bringing you back for that. All right, welcome back. They're all out of the fryer, and this is what they look like. Picked up one that was already cooled, and I'm going to open it up so you can see what the inside looks like. It looks rather delicious to me. It's like a cakey donut is what it looks like. Okay, and so Robert's here to help me do the taste testing to see what we think. We've got it Louisiana style. We got 3 beignets with a whole bunch of powdered sugar on it, so we're probably going to make a mess when we take a bite of this. So choose one you want. All right, ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's say bye. They're good.
Mm-hmm.
They're eggy, so I think I might cut down to 3 eggs with this particular amount of flour and butter. They're a little gummy, which I don't know, maybe that means they need to fry a little bit longer. But I think those are the 2 things that I get. What do you get?
Yeah, that's it. That reminds me a little bit of a cake donut.
Mm-hmm. Very much like a cake donut. Well, you see I'm not spitting it out. And he ain't either, so I think they're a success. I think a few tweaks on the recipe, and I think they'll be good. Now, grab the cinnamon over there, Robert, because I know you love cinnamon. Now, don't get it on my side, because I don't care for cinnamon that much. Put a little cinnamon on that bad boy, and you taste that one. Mmm. I'm going to get that one that I just broke. I'm going to eat it.
Okay.
All right, give it a taste.
Mm-hmm.
So what you like?
Mm-hmm.
He likes
really
cinnamon raisin bread, anything with cinnamon in it. He puts cinnamon in his coffee, so he loves cinnamon. So, all right. I think it's a success. Oh, yeah. And I hope you enjoyed doing this with me today. If you like it, I'll do some more whenever I do some more redacting of recipes. Anyway, you have a great day, and I'm going to go now try to get this loaded up on the internet. All right. Bye, guys.